Hi, I'm Derk-Jan and I just finished my first test run on an app that I was testing and I wanted to share some of my ideas and my thoughts. And those were triggered basically by a series of talks and publications that I run about what test techniques do we actually need. And I made a model for that, a classification model. I will try to get it into the screen, where you can see in the red ball I say if you want to do some test execution, you probably need some test design techniques. Well, they're well known, right? But you might need techniques to create errors, to get the system in a failure mode, and you need to have certain techniques to detect errors when they occur. This was basically the first app test that I did after I came up with the model. So while doing the tests, I thought maybe I should run that model in my head and see how that works. What am I actually doing as a tester while I'm doing my exploratory tests? I had some discussions with James Lindsay on those techniques, and he said, well, you should look for inconsistencies internally, externally. You could look at refresh rates, which I really liked. He said, well, look for things that the system does not what you would expect it to do, and the other way around. What are things that the system does which you did not expect that it did? And that worked rather well, because what I was noticing while I was doing the test, that to be honest, a lot of bugs just happened. They just occurred while I was playing around with it, and I thought, hey, what's happening there? I didn't know that. That's strange behavior. So that's, I think, a lot aligned with what do you expect the system to do and how is it consistent. So I think you need to recollect and remember a lot of behavior of the system and store them in your head. So that helps you to trigger, like, hey, I see something happening, but I think on another screen it was happening in a different way. And there's a lot of checklists that you can run by, of course, like our proper GUI items used to represent the right functions. Other things, what I noticed while I was testing, that I was thinking 2 steps ahead already, and I think that's really a tester's thing. So maybe we could call that, I like to call it names like the chess model, because in a chess game you think a few moves ahead as well. So for instance, when I saw a certain button, I thought, like, if I push that button, what would happen, and what kind of bug could I find in the next step maybe. So that's really about anticipating and on what might happen and trying to imagine what a good system should look like. It's really trying to find the behaviors, and it will help you to recognize when something is different than you expected. And I think that's another item which is quite interesting, because you have to be careful and aware of what your own feelings are as a tester. Like, you should be aware of frowns, agony that you're having when you're testing, so that you alert on yourself when you find something very strange. And the ones about the system doing things that you did not expect. Well, I'm just playing with the apps right now manually, so I don't have much tooling around. But I was checking some error logs by other testers, and they were looking in the logging and the network traffic. And it's, of course, especially if you're talking about app kind of thing, very interesting thing, like what's sent over the line, what events are being logged that you cannot read from the GUI, but maybe the system is doing something which you do not expect. So regarding to the model, like, what are recognition techniques, what testers use in order to see that something is going wrong? I might have given some, but I'm still on a quest, because I'm not really sure if I got the complete list. So if you have some ideas, don't be afraid to share them with me, and maybe then next time we can tell a complete list and help each other out. Thank you for watching.